Hey, Mike.
Hey Monique, how you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for agreeing to step into the lounge and have this conversation with me about mental health in the workplace.
Thank you for having me on because it's definitely needed in the workplace and in work-life balance and just life in general. So thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for stepping in here. As you already know, that Monique's Healing Lounge, we are built on trying to get people to tap into their mental illness, make better decisions as far as their mental health is concerned, focusing on self care, self love, and also just learning from other people's experiences. Right. So, again, I thank you for that.
Are you welcome? It's a pleasure, and thank you just for thinking to ask me to be on.
You're welcome. So if you can give us a brief introduction to who you are.
Yeah, just a little bit about me. I was northern raised, in Detroit, Michigan. Moved down to Georgia, Marietta, Georgia, for about 4 years now. My wife and I. My wife's originally from this state. I'm moving here. Um, we're both pretty much just raised in the church. You know, just like preachers and teachers are just trying to find the perfect workplace and career path for us. And so that's just why we're here. We just want to be used by God and see where He will have us to go. So a little that's a little bit about me. I am also like a musician and stuff like that.
You
That's,
said a musician?
I am, yeah.
Wow, I
um,
didn't know that.
yeah, it's one of those things that I found out later in life is more of a calling more than I just thought it was like a hobby or something I was good at and things like that. So that's about me. I'm just um
What
yeah.
instrument? I'm just curious.
Say that again.
What instrument?
Oh, piano. So like piano and trumpet, and I sing a bit. My family is I'm probably fourth generation in playing an instrument or keyboard that I know of. So
Nice, nice. Well, thank you. Um, the next question I wanted to ask you is why did discussing this topic resonate with you?
I guess for me, I just see the issues we have in the workplace, and let's just face it, as a community, we don't talk about mental health really. And
Right.
it's just some things you just get over and you push through in life. And we see from generation to generation we're struggling with different things because we don't deal with that. And then if you bring it up, you're just automatically deemed, oh, well, you're crazy, or you know what I'm saying. Even if you, especially for us to get counseling, it's like, no, nothing wrong. You don't need no counseling. I don't need no counseling. That pride of actually stepping out and getting professional help, um, and it's just part of life. Like we have our minds make up of a lot of our experiences. You
Hmm.
know, how we believe in different things, like how we process stuff. So how can we not talk about us and success in life or success in your family, doing whatever you do without talking about your mental stability, your mental health?
Hmm.
You know, so that's
Yeah,
why it
it's
raised out for me. And like we know to work out your body, to help stay physically fit and eat the right foods and things like that. But mentally, we don't, we're just kind of like, oh, I want to think about it. It'll be all right. So
mhm.
that's why it resonated for me. It's just something that we really definitely need to talk about and just address.
Yeah, and so for me, it's really deep. I mean, we spend a lot of time at work. We spend the majority of our day at work. And if the workplace is chaotic, um, how do you diffuse all of that going on in your head?
Right.
And then what if your job is not a place that will actually address that? Right? They don't acknowledge the fact that the workers are mentally unstable. They don't think about the fact that what if their home life is unstable,
Yeah.
right? So you have instability at home, you have instability at the workplace, and it just doesn't seem to be anybody's concern. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to speak on this. Like, I know someone is going through this struggle right now. They're not well mentally, and they just don't know what to do. So can you share a time, not necessarily specifying a specific job, but just a
You
time
ain't got work.
when,
You ain't gonna
yeah,
worry. I'm not gonna tell on no places that I work. I'll keep it
yeah,
I keep it general.
right, right. So just if you can share a time when um your mental health was compromised at work.
Okay.
And
Um,
basically, what did you do? How did you do it? How did you work through it?
I got you. And I had actually had an instance where Um, I was in college and I was working. I wasn't working at an internship. I didn't. A little bit about my school. We would go to school for 3 months and then we would intern for 3 months. That particular year, I didn't have an internship. My company had got bought out by another company, so I found a job at. I'm not going to name the place, but at a retail store. Um,
Okay.
and the retail store kind of remind me of your earrings there, but I'm not going to tell who it was.
Okay.
Um, but anyway, so on one day I had to go into work, and my grandfather actually passed that morning. And I had my uniform on and everything, and I couldn't. I was so like I don't know because I always go to work. I'm always on time. I didn't know the number to call off.
Yeah.
And so and I'm like, I can't. Normally I like, okay, I could push through and go to work, but I couldn't get it together. I'm like, I need a day to process this, you know. And so I go into work. It was really about maybe 5 or 10 minutes, not even 5 minutes from my grandfather's house. I go into the job, go up to management and let them know, hey, my grandfather passed today. I won't be in today. And I hear my immediate supervisor like, well, why can't he work today? He already in uniform. And I said, this is the reason why I can't do this today. Because
Yes.
I don't know emotionally how I'm going to respond to people because I'm still processing stuff. So I'm just letting you know I can't do this today. I said, I'll try to be here tomorrow, but I don't really know. And I just wanted to let you guys know. And I left. So that's how I dealt with that. And I was able to process stuff that day, and I'm glad I took the time off and I was ready to go. I think I went the next day to work and I was okay. But emotionally, I didn't know where I would be because I'm still processing it, and I
Yeah.
realized that my job didn't care where I was emotionally.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
like get it done, you know.
Right.
And I was like, I can't. I'm not gonna subject myself to that atmosphere because I don't. One, I really don't want to go off on anybody. Like you work with me, and I'm just not, in general, that person unless I'm
Yeah.
pushed. I don't want to go off on anybody. I don't want to say anything out of the way. I don't want to be rude to our customers. And I was like, it's best for me to stay home and just kind of grieve with my family and get it together. And we'll try this again tomorrow. So that was an example of one of the things that I processed.
Hmm. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty deep. I mean, if we're talking about a loss of a loved one
Hmm.
and your job not supporting that, that culture is very iffy just for people in general.
Right.
How about a situation where it was just constant, everyday stress? Like you go in, you're not sure what your day is going to look like. You're being pulled from left to right, and you just rolling with the punches. Like how does that feel? How does that look like for you? How
Um,
did you get through a time like that if you had one?
yeah, it did seem like I had many times like that, unfortunately, in a job place. So I didn't know what my day would look like. But one thing I do, I like to be a little bit early to work so I can just kind of, pray and meditate. And then if I get an assignment where my area is, I can just prepare the area or just prepare my mind for, um, like you said, I don't know what's going on. So I have to pray and just say, hey, you can't control what task you're going to get today, but just know you'll be able to just put your best toward it. And then one of the other things that kept me from like, now when you're over here, you're over there, I need you to do this and go here and go, stuff like that. One thing that kept me calm was that if they're asking me to do it in general, they believe that I can get it done. And so
Okay.
that was one of the things that helped me kind of balance. But for me, I have to remain like peaceful and have some sense of joy so that I can get the job done and just not be all over the place and lose my mind. One of the things that I like to just remind myself in situations, I want to think that I am the thermostat, not the thermometer. So no matter what is going on around me, I can control meaning I
Oh,
can
I
control
like
my
that.
temperature.
I
So
like that.
thank you. It's not mine. I borrowed it from a couple of pastors and somebody I heard from. So,
That's
but
all
that's
right.
one thing I want to take on. Some coaches. Yeah, some coaches would talk about that as well. And they were talking about mental state as well, like an emotional state. Like I'm the thermostat and not the thermometer. And so that kind of calms me down that no matter all this chaos and stuff could be going on around me, but I just do what it takes to get myself in a place of peaceful
Right.
state.
You regulating that temperature
Yeah,
in the room.
yeah. And I understand I can't really control everything. Of course, I can't control everything around me, but I can control me and how I respond. In some situations, I have to go, and walk away for a minute. I got to go out to my car. I may need to take a break. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not necessarily a scheduled break. Um, let's just be real. Sometimes you got to take that bathroom break, and you don't really have to go. You just got to get
Right.
out of there.
Right. Right. So
You
yeah,
know what
that
I'm talking
sounds
about.
like right. I mean, that sounds like some of your self-care. Like how do you
Hmm.
take care of yourself in a chaotic situation? I mean, you said a lot. And I'm writing. If I'm looking off, I'm just jotting things
Oh,
down
it's fine.
because ultimately I want to share this with the people, like just some little takeaways, right? That they might not even think of. Because when you in the moment, I know for me, I'm not thinking about these little things. Like I'm just like either frustrated or feeling very overwhelmed,
Hmm.
really deep in my feelings because I'm feeling like the job doesn't care about me, and things like that. So it's very helpful to share these little tips. So thank you for that. And I like that, the thermometer versus
Yeah, I have to keep that when I feel myself. It's like, wait a minute, hold up, thermostat. So I'm like, adjust your temperature, adjust
right.
it down, and that's literally that's how my mind thinks. Okay, adjust.
Nice. Um All right. So, what do you think your former employers could have done, right? If you're thinking about a particular job or jobs, what do you think of your former employer could have done to make you at least feel like they care? Well, especially what we know about the job where your grandfather passed, like we got that, right?
Okay.
But how about, other places, how would you have felt like whole, like, what, the job does care about my mental health?
I think there needs to be a balance because a lot of times the job will tell you when you've done something wrong or you screwed something up or you're late or you all you hear is what you didn't do.
Right.
You don't hear enough of what you do or what you do well. I mean, even in cases that maybe you have an employee or maybe you're a person that you haven't done much well at the job, just showing
Right.
up. At least say, "Hey, I just thank you for showing up." Get something that And I mean, I don't fault the job or anything. I just don't think. Here's my thing. I think we're looking for leadership qualities out of managers. And what's the difference, right? What's the difference? Like for me, leaders care about who they lead. They care about pouring into, and they care about reproducing people. Managers in general are I'm just here to do this job, get this done, and manage or supervise my group or whatever. And I'm not faulting anybody for it, but the
Right.
culture of corporate culture or the workplace, that's what it is. So we don't have that kind of thing for leadership. So in general, they may not care. And I think that's one thing they um, could use, even if even if you don't care, some kind of positive affirmation or some kind of training on getting people to do it. Like we heard back in the day, they would say you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar. They've
Yep.
always said that. So what does that mean? Be kind, be nice. Now you can still be kind, be nice, and assertive, and still get the job done. You know, and I know some people feel like, well, if I be that way, they're gonna walk all over me.
Mhm.
But I've had an example of a great manager that did it. I can count on like I don't want to say, but one hand, like one. She
Yeah.
was a great manager, and I was
They are
like
few and
the
far
best boss
between.
ever because she spoke up and let you know when you need to get it together, when you're on
Mhm.
thin ice. But there was that balance of I do appreciate you, I do value what you bring and things like that. So I've seen her be tough, you know, and as well like and caring without being like a pushover. You know,
Right.
one thing was definitely not a pushover. So I think that's one thing that the job can do. I just don't think they know that it's a big issue. You know, sometime in life we're like, oh well, I had this situation going on. It's no big deal for me. What may be big for you may not be big for me. But having that, you know, my wife always talk about that too, empathy. You know, when you have in the workplace, have some empathy for
Yeah.
people.
Right, especially if you've been down that road, right?
Yeah,
You've been down that road, you see the struggle, and you know things really haven't changed. Yeah, you moved up in the ladder, but your subordinates are now in that place where you was at.
right.
So how about giving them empathy instead of saying, I did it, I was there before, and I got through it. So you need to get through it.
Yeah. And you know
Right.
what?
So
That I think is rooted in I'm concerned about my position. I gotta protect my position. Because
mm,
well, I did this, I did no, you know, and I worked in a plant before and it was a whole new I came from like office, you know, where I work
oh yeah, two different things.
uh all of this is okay for your program, but I would say I was a house person and then I had to work in the field, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it was like it was
Oh
like, and so
yeah.
I wasn't used to that. And so doing this hard work or whatever, and I asked the person, well, how long did it take you to get this job? Oh, right away. I'm like, that's not true. But it was like
Right.
protect my position because this is some new person. If I help them, they may pass me up or
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things like that. But mentally, that could have helped me. You could have gave me some things to prepare me, and I
Right.
could have done better. I didn't have to experience it and do it all myself because you've already been there,
Right.
you know. But you like, hey, I just want you to like they want you to experience what they experience.
And then
You,
and
you
then
triggered that
you
when you
had
said that.
huh?
When you said that, you triggered that thought I had.
Yeah. When you had mentioned you're not even being sure that the jobs even know about the mental health in people, right? So they should. The jobs should know and
Yeah,
they should take that extra step to make sure that their workers are okay. Instead of being fearful of their numbers or their productivity or I mean I get it, right? But how can someone can't be fully present at the job if they're not well mentally, right? So you got to kind of weigh it and see what could we do to make sure that they're mentally well so they can be more productive.
I got you. And you know what? And I think some of the places now they're offering, you know, anonymous call where you could call and get the mental health um, help. I should say mental help that you need. Um, and another thing that they can alleviate to do that, whatever, don't share stuff with other people about things. You know, I think sometimes we talk too much in the job. You know,
Mhm.
so and so had to take off to things at home ain't. That's not for you to share.
Right.
You know,
Right. Right. That's an added piece.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily like everything may not necessarily be private, but why are you telling everybody else? That could add to the
Oh,
stresses of
yeah.
doing,
Right.
you know?
It's like the people that you're going to for help shouldn't be the ones also spreading your business
Yes.
around the job,
Yeah, because
right?
it's like I'm coming to you for help.
Right.
So help. And not add to the things that I'm experiencing. Now you added
Right.
another level of stress on me, you know?
Right. Right. And yeah, a lot of jobs they have an EAP program, an
Yeah.
employee um what does the A stand for?
Oh,
Assistance.
somebody say don't give me the
Yeah,
I
an
do know it's
employee
EAP, but
yeah, employee assistance
assistant program.
program.
That sounds
And
good.
I've attempted to reach out, and my first the first person that you speak to is should be very warm, very caring, very compassionate. Like, we're calling for help. We need guidance. We have a lot going on. And when I tell you I hung up that phone feeling judged, and no one, like, I never even got a call back from this therapist
Wow.
that was supposed, like, I was like, and this is the EAP program?
That's
Like, oh,
terrible.
y'all definitely need help in this place.
Yeah.
Like, your first line of contact have you feeling like you feel like they're judging you. That shouldn't be. That
Yeah.
shouldn't be. Um,
It's like coming to somebody's house and you right at the door, like, hello. Like me,
right,
never mind.
right.
I
I'm
got
going
definitely got the
home.
wrong
I'm going
house.
back
Not,
home.
yeah. Not doing this.
Um, what else that I wanted to ask you? So tell me what that pivot looked like. Um, Tell me what kind of space you're in now, versus where you was before. Um, and what does that pivot look like for you mentally?
Okay. Basically like I was saying before too, the thermostat thermometer, like as now I'm working for myself in business. And if it
Okay.
comes to a point where I have to basically work for somebody else again, remembering and just protect my mental state at all costs. Because I know for me, I perform better when I'm in that space. And I understand that there's times that I just really believe like the enemy just gonna throw things at you so that you'll just kind of go crazy and just not get anything done. And so I'm mindful of that. And so that's one of the things that I've made that pivot that it's going to happen. And sometimes you're going to be in work environments that they really don't care, or they are not they don't know really how to, or they're not equipped. Just put it like that. They're not equipped.
Mhm.
I put it like that, and they might not be equipped to work with you or handle you as an employee. But I've kind of taken ownership of that and realized that whatever I need to do to maintain that healthy state, then I need to do it. You know, and one of the pivots is being a little bit more vocal with supervisors. And I mean, and some of the pastors will know, like, I'm not disrespectful, but here's what I'm going to do for my family, for my mental state, or whatever.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
ready to take whatever consequence that is. Like, not being
Right.
disrespectful, but at the end of the day, I had to tell the supervisor too, at the end of the day, if I was to die today, you're gonna have to find a replacement tomorrow.
Right. Right.
So it's like I just have to
Right.
do what I have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, we can't change the people around us, but we can change how we try to understand the situation. We can maybe try to look at it a little differently, um, and just change our way of thinking. I mean, like I said, sometimes when you're in it, it's
Yeah,
very hard, especially when people are just very, like, disrespectful, and it's so hard to try to get your mind right in that space. But
it is.
ultimately, we do leave to go home. So What do we do when we leave the job? What do we do prior to going into work? It's work you always got to put in when you facing those situations,
Yeah.
to keep your mental health stable. Um,
Um,
so do you want to share a little about what you're doing now?
yeah, real quick
As
before that, can I share this thought that I had when you're
Of
saying that?
course.
Then again, as pivoting, I recognize, I failed to say that I'm going to be the one to affect change in my work environment. You worked with me, so you probably could attest to how I seem to make some things different, and I'm like,
Yeah,
and that's where those things that I can change, I'm going to change. People that I can affect, for good, I'm going to do that. And that's one of the things that I did, knowing how it felt to come in certain environments, not feeling that, so I become that to other people what I wanted out of the environment.
right.
So
Right.
that's one of the things. And hope it's okay. I shared that real quick.
Oh no, that was fine. But wait, before you answer the
Mhm.
question that I asked you, I'm curious to
So now
know
you got
something
another
in
question.
regards. Huh?
So now you got another question, right?
Yeah. It just dawned on me in regards to COVID,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people are under the assumption that the people who work at home, their mental health is better than the people that have to physically go into the office.
Hmm. I mean, it depends. I think it really depends. For me, I would say yeah, because in general, I get more done at home and not around, a lot of people. I guess I can get it done there too, but it's just it really depends. Like I don't really, for me, just having my task and me plucking away at it, I'm good. I don't have to have the water cooler conversations or different things like that. They're great. I'm not a hermit, but I'm just saying I don't have to have all
Right, right,
that. And so it just really depends. But for some, that interaction with people, I think after so long just being home, and I'm blessed to have a wife, so it's not like I'm never just home alone, but the person that may have worked home for a year or two by themselves, there's nobody there, so they want that human interaction. Let's just face it, we're built for some kind of human interaction,
right,
not in an
right,
unhealthy way that you depend on them for your self worth or who you are, determine who you are, but that interaction because I mean, we hear, the Bible talks about that too, like iron sharpens iron. How can we sharpen one another without being around one another?
right,
You know,
right. And it's a lot that goes on at home. Like you have people with kids and you being a mom while you're trying to work, and then you have your boss, and then you like I don't know, sometimes I feel like it might be mental health might be at risk even more so in the home because some homes aren't just quiet, where you can just
yeah.
focus and get things done. It's a lot going on. But we have 8 minutes left. So, a couple things. I wanted you to talk real quick about if you want to share a little about what you're doing. You did mention you're an entrepreneur. And then of course I wanted to end this with some takeaways. What can we share with people who are in that situation and got to get up every day and go to work to a place where their mental health is compromised?
Yeah, okay, I got you. So, real quick about what I do. I'm an independent rep with Primary. So it's basically, if you will, like a franchise in your own financial company. So we provide financial services like life insurance, investments, quotes on home and auto insurance and things like that. But basically, ultimately, we work with clients as well as partners to help them get financially stable so they can just do the things that they really want to do in life. A lot of time you hear
Okay.
people say, well, after I retire, then I'm going to do this. So we work with people so that, hey, you don't have to wait to retirement. You can live life and just do it that way. So
Okay. And
that's
you
the
find
real, in
that
a
to be a
nutshell.
lot more you find that to be a lot more relaxing for you mentally.
Yeah, in general, yeah. Like I mean, and I have partners that I work with too. So it's of course, or anything that's going to be stressed, there's going to be um, the mental health thing. Like the biggest thing about entrepreneurship too is, can I do this? Is this going to work? Did I mess up?
Mhm.
Am I a failure? You know,
Oh,
and these are
yeah.
the things that you have to battle. So in that sense, when you're working home alone, by yourself, it's like if you're not, I'm just blessed that I have somebody at home that feeds, encourages me as well.
Right,
You know,
right.
I
It's
don't,
not
I'm not,
easy.
yeah, it's not easy. Unfortunately, and for people that may not be in environments like that, you just have to find a way to get it done. You just have to. Those are the kind of things that build champions, that build success. Actually, all these people that we see that are successful in their own lanes, they all had to go through that, some
Right.
kind of
That's right.
version of it. They
That's
just been
right.
more successful at the failures that they can't come up against.
Right,
Other
right.
people may
Because
have given up, but
right,
they never gave up.
right, right, right. So that's it. You gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Um, so that's good. I'm glad you're in a better space mentally, as far as work. Um, some takeaways, some tip. I mean, you said a lot. You said walk away, take break. You come
Yeah.
into work early,
Yeah.
to prepare your mind and try to get your workspace ready. Um, you pray, you meditate, you trying to change your way of thinking. Um, anything
And
else
that's
that you
that's what I use. I mean, and a lot of time I'm reciting scripture. Um, um, I believe Galatians 6:9. Be not weary in well doing. So even as you're doing good, don't get weary when things are happening around you, or people may not at your job respect you, or even acknowledge that, or whatever. It's like don't get weary in good doing. You know what you bring. You know the value you bring.
Yeah,
And that's one of the things. And I would tell other coworkers. That's one thing I do. One of the tips too. I've noticed when you encourage others, sometimes you're encouraged.
right,
I mean, many times you are.
right.
Um, One, you're not necessarily focused on, and I'm not saying put not dealing with your issues or what's going on, but sometime when we're looking to encourage somebody else or edify somebody else, we don't fall into the pity party like woe is me and why they
Yeah,
do me like this and stuff like that. And you just get another confidence, you know.
right, right.
And just my thing too is just boldness to be different. So in a lot of places too, if you're not like everybody else, if we get cliquish and you don't go to all of the
Right,
company things or you don't go to the I'm not going to do this, you know, and I'm fine.
right,
But
right.
let's celebrate differences and not use it to, you know,
Judge me, be
yeah, judge me
judgmental.
or cliquish. You know,
Right,
we should
right,
celebrate. That person's different. Yeah, yeah, that's different. And that's something, a different idea that can be added to the space, a different advantage in the workplace, and then work like a team.
right.
That's the thing. And another thing I would think of too is Philippians talks about think on good things. And so it's funny when as you read Bible, you think it's not just cute things to quote; they are things for life, values for life. So when you're going through those hard times, think on good things, like whatever's good. And if you're a person that say, "Well, I don't see what's good to think about," because sometimes you're just there, like, what
Yeah,
is good?
yeah.
One, you woke up today. One, you do have a job. You're there. You know. Um, One, you did get hired, so somebody saw it was worth you hiring. You know,
Try to find the good in
yeah,
you gotta try to find the good in everything.
yeah. And
You gotta
I'm a
try to
firm
find the
believer of
good.
that.
Yeah,
I think out
because
of every
it's good
situation,
in there. You may
yeah,
not see it because it's so much stifle in it, but it's something
yeah.
good in there.
You know
The
what?
last minute or two we have,
Yeah,
Mike,
sorry.
what is no, that's okay. I love it. What is one thing that you can say that you've learned from Monique's Healing Lounge thus far?
Okay. One of the things I did learn is to take care of yourself. You know, and I'm not saying be selfish. But you need to take care of yourself. So one, you can be better for if you're not better as a person, or whole as a person. I think you do a lot with dealing with wholeness. If you're
Mhm.
not whole, it's hard to help somebody else, you know.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I got, and just never. One of the things I got from I'm just tuning in and just listening to you as well is that you can't be afraid to just be transparent, to a degree. You don't tell everybody all of your business, of course,
Right.
but in that transparency, yeah,
Communication is key.
yeah. And I just what I got from you, just that being vulnerable about what you were going through and your family going through, and it helps them, help other people, and so that's what
Yeah.
you can't be afraid of that. And I believe we all go through experiences, not just for us.
Right.
You know, God is using our testimony of what we've been through to help somebody else.
Right.
And if we don't open up and share that, there are people that need to hear. I just believe each one of us has something. There's people that need that
We
testimony
less
that
than
you said.
1 minute,
I
Mike.
know, I'm
We
done. I
less
was
than
wrapping
one
up.
minute.
I
I'm
saw it.
sorry. We needed more time.
I
I want
saw
to
it. I
thank
wrapped
you
it up.
so much for showing up and sharing your experience with us. And I'm sure we will have you back again. I'm going to have a lot of topics I want to talk about.
All right.
But thank you so much, Mike.
Thank
And
you.
I'll talk to
You
you
keep
soon,
on.
okay?
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.